Good afternoon, YouTubers, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Joseph Magellan, the serial killer's son, the one-take wonder, and one of the most abused people in human history. J.C. Dugard, Elizabeth Smart, eat your hearts out because you lived like pampered princesses compared to me and the abuse that I suffer at the hands of these terrible people. Do you find that offensive? Good. Then watch my video. My father and my stepbrother are the most prolific serial murderers in American history, and I believe in world history, frankly. And I literally can't get the police to do anything. So a lot has happened since I last posted, and I'm going to start with the last letter that I faxed to a West Virginia senator's office, who I now realize is up for election on Tuesday. So my request may simply be an issue of bad timing on my part. So here's the letter. I wrote, I request a case number and search warrants on 5 identified properties in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Okay, and here you can see I identified 3 particular people, okay, 2 of whom are my family members. And others associated with them are easily the most prolific serial murderers, child molesters, rapists, and kidnappers in human history, in U.S. history. I believe their victims number in excess of 250 over 40 years. So literally 250 people are buried at these locations. I identified 7 locations, 5 of which are in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. All 5 of the Berkeley Springs locations, all 5 of those are directly controlled by my family and were specifically controlled by my father, who was the greatest serial killer in U.S. history. Okay, I'm just going to continue to read. There are hundreds of murdered victims buried in 5 locations in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, and I need help to get the police to issue search warrants. I'm appealing to the senator and the senator's staff. Additional bodies are buried in Maryland and Virginia locations. I am an eyewitness to 47 kidnaps, rapes, tortures, child molestation, shootings, stabbings, bindings, blindings, stuffing in trunks, dog mauling, blowtorch burnings, bleach, acid, and Drano poured into ears, eyes, and wounds. They broke all the bones in the legs and feet. They smashed all the bones in their hands. And I'm also an eyewitness to 1 or more live burials, the NIST engineer, for instance. Some of the victims were kept alive for days. Later victims were kept alive for weeks and months. Many of the events I witnessed occurred at my home in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Okay, who are the murderers? My father and my stepbrother. So my father and my brother are the most prolific murderers. I've been going back and forth with the police and the United States Department of Justice in West Virginia for several months. Back in March, I had a reporter from the Associated Press, quote unquote, looking into this matter. He called all the police agencies relentlessly in Berkeley Springs, Morgan County, and the state police requesting a preliminary walk of the identified properties, preliminary to the issuance of search warrants. Okay, so there was an absolute assumption on the part of the media guy that we were, of course, going to get search warrants because you can't say there's nothing there if there's no search warrants. And so literally this guy, who's an international media guy, was just calling them up and calling every cop in West Virginia and saying, I just want to walk the properties with you. Let's schedule a time and we'll just do a preliminary walk. And then, of course, you're going to issue search warrants and do an official search. Every cop in West Virginia ducked him. Every single one. And he never got any calls back from anyone. And he called me back in frustration. He was just completely stonewalled. And after weeks of this, he finally called me and he said, and I'd been talking to him the whole time anyway, sending him emails and talking to him. And he said to me, his exact words were, you know, I've been doing this for 25 years and this has never happened before, that the police would not call him back, would not respond to his emails or calls. Never, ever, ever. And so what did he do? Instead of, you know, getting all fired up and deciding that he's going to get his feet on those properties and that we're going to get search warrants, he just did the dip. Okay, to use the Jersey Shore language, he just did the dip. He just dipped out, and his phone went off, and his email died. And so I'm talking to him on a Friday, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure I told you, but I'm retiring on Monday, and I won't be available after Monday." And I'm like, "What?" And then he just dipped out and disappeared. To the senator's office in my state requesting that the FBI look into this. Their office did forward my request to the FBI, and it came back with a form letter rejection with literally no name or signature on the letter I received. The letter stated that I'd been appealing to them since 2016, and back then they didn't find any evidence. That's absolutely inaccurate and false, and this is how fake news gets around, because they're an authority and they said something that's absolutely wrong and absolutely false. So anyway, I was appealing to them previously because these same people stole my life savings. I retired at 46. They stole my entire life savings, which was a measly $330,000. Okay, it's not $1 million that I saved. I saved $330,000. They stole a whole lot of it and went down to the Caribbean money laundering jurisdiction. Who? These same people. The female serial killer, and she picked some financial people. Okay, and they, in this form letter, they said, "Oh well, we investigated and we didn't find anything." You didn't investigate anything. Okay, it is really hard to find evidence of wrongdoing when you refuse to investigate. Okay, so I went there for the theft of my entire life savings. They spent 6 months stealing this money. There were 50 to 100 armed home invasions of my home in Prince George's County, Maryland, in College Park, Maryland. I was held hostage. I was raped. I was beaten. All my laptops and cameras were broken and reformatted. There's dozens and dozens of witnesses. I can't get anybody to do anything. Okay, that's what they didn't investigate. That's what the FBI previously did not investigate. Okay, so with regard to this, okay, now someone right now is receiving $3,000 a month in perpetuity of my money. I receive $1,500 a month of my money, and they receive $3,000 a month of my money. So that is the excellent work that the FBI is doing for the people of America, just to be clear. So I also placed calls to all of the Department of Justice prosecutors in West Virginia asking for an investigation. I also called several state's attorneys in West Virginia. I also contacted the corruption hotline in West Virginia. I'll read you the letter for the West Virginia Public Corruption Hotline. And I wrote, "This is the largest public corruption case in U.S. history," and it is. Hundreds of public officials were bribed with this money nationwide and internationally. Literally, they bribed people worldwide. This money was initially stolen in Montgomery County, Maryland, but this corruption reaches deep, wide, and very enduringly into the pockets of countless public officials in West Virginia. Hundreds of murdered victims are buried in 5 locations in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia at the addresses. I've already told you that. The bribery, public corruption, and murders are all one inseparable tapestry of evil, the magnum opus of many monsters well known to me. This fraud is estimated at $1 billion. I know who controls and distributes this stolen money, and they are identified by name. I've even gone to the trouble of identifying exactly who controls this money, in addition to my family members, because who stole it? My family. My father stole this money, and my mother. It's so hard to trace this money. This is the largest RICO in U.S. history and involves many instances of money laundering over a period spanning 40 years. It's money laundering because they have distributed this money to hundreds and hundreds of public officials as scholarship money, okay? And they never check on the back end to see if you ever went to school. It's all quote-unquote scholarship money. They bribed cops in Poland. That's the last place they stole this money. They bribed cops in Puerto Rico. They bribed cops in West Virginia, Maryland, D.C., Virginia, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. It's all with this money. It's all traceable. What investigation have you done exactly? Bueller. Bueller. All right, YouTube family, I'm going to wrap it up here since we're already out 10 minutes on this video. In summary, I don't have search warrants. No investigation has been performed. No investigation. My father and my brother, my stepbrother, they murdered all these folks, so I can't imagine how I could possibly know any of this. I'm an eyewitness and I've identified 47 victims. Did they check anything? No! And they're ducking the media. Why? If they're not hiding something, why are they ducking the media? What's really going on? The third primary serial murderer, a female, the only person not directly blood related to me, is pulling strings behind the scenes. Her daddy is an FBI agent. So literally, if you want to be the greatest serial killer, child molester, kidnapper, and spend your life robbing and murdering and stealing, you just need an FBI agent to bail you out every time, and you can literally never be arrested for anything. You can literally assault me in all 50 states with a gun, displaying a false federal agent's badge, and declare universal gun carry, and dear old corrupt dad will just bail you out every time. Heck, why stop there? Why not follow me to 40 countries worldwide and assault me and hire people to assault me and to murder me, and use your fake federal agent's badge and get daddy to bail you out of all those crimes too? Seriously, folks, truth is stranger than fiction. Welcome to my life. Please subscribe to the video, leave a comment and a like. Pick up my books on Amazon for less than the price of a cup of coffee. Help me get the word out, and leave me a positive review on my books. Thank you.